Now, I've been called a monster for many different reasons, but this time I have to sit here and think as to how and why I've been called a monster. Last time it was because I said I would kill people's families as a reference to where the dead go to die. People didn't get that, and it was their fault, but at the very least I can appreciate how such a comment would bother people. And if you don't know where the dead go to die is, that also makes that comment look way worse. By the way, if you don't know where the dead go to die is, then it's probably the best to avoid it. This, on the other hand, is not something that you should be misconstruing. A New Beginning is a point-and-click adventure game about a group of people going back in time in order to save the planet from global warming. A little preachy, but depending on how good the game is, I can handle a little preaching, so all good there. The problem comes in just the first 10 minutes as it makes a profound statement. So you're this guy walking around his property trying to fix this machine, a machine whose job is to spew toxic waste into a forest to kill all natural life within it. Yeah, that's not insane at all.
No, sir. No, please, sir, have mercy. Please, sir. No, don't do this. You don't have to do this. You're a better man than this. You don't need to do this. Please, sir. Please, no. Please, no, sir. No. No! Fucking pussy.
That is why this is titled Why You Should Know What You're Writing About, because this is a mistake made by the stupid and ill-informed. So the illusion being made is that people who heat their houses with a wood-burning furnace during the winter are people who brutally murder all of nature, which has to be one of the stupidest things I have ever seen. Preaching should annoy anyone, even if it follows their beliefs, but incorrect preaching should piss you off no matter what. The only way you write something like this is because you live in the city, and the only interaction you have with nature is a local park and that dumbass plant you keep in the condo. You know nothing of conservation efforts, much less basic things of anything outside of city folk living. Sorry if I'm about to be condescending, but this game proves that this needs to be said. First off, we don't use massive toxic cloud machines to keep life out of the forest. We use it to keep the Negroes down in our underground plantation and away from freedom. And second, the notion that this is meant to keep the wood fresh is funny on a level that doesn't make any sense. If you don't know, let me walk you through this extremely complicated process. So you chop down a tree. This is because it needed to be moved for any reason, because it was old and could damage something, or because you just needed the wood. Now, depending on how dead the tree was before being chopped down, it needs to be stacked so it can dry out, normally over a year's time. So if you're cutting down a tree just for wood, you would be doing so the year before you're planning to burn it. And then after you stack it, you will burn it. Doing all of this without destroying an entire ecosystem and murdering all of the wildlife around you. So if that somehow didn't inform you, when you are burning wood, you'd rather it not be fresh. So strike one. And then we get to whatever that machine might be. So let's just assume that it's just before fall, so August, and that means he leaves this thing running 24/7 to keep the critters away from his trees. 4 months turns into 120 days, which turns into 2,808 hours. This thing is running non-stop. Going conservative here and just working with a 5 kilowatt generator, since this massive thing really doesn't do anything, we can assume it's similar and say it burns a gallon per hour. Average national diesel price at the time of writing is $2.40. That means it costs $7,000 just to keep the squirrels and birds away from your trees before you cut them down and burn them. Now, I don't know how much it costs to heat a house during the winter, but I'm sure it's not that high, and even if it is, you're not putting in all the time and effort to cut and stack the wood, which is the real cost of burning wood, as you are trading spending money for physical work. And all of that is just the first 10 minutes of the game. It's really sad because this game looks so interesting, but anyone who hit that moment and didn't lose their damn mind either are far more patient than I ever could be, or they're just that dumb. I will finish this game later, but as for now, I think that is more than enough to convince me to stop. Wow. First rule of writing, at least know a little bit about the subject you are going to talk about before you start your project.